Hey Muses, it's Tyler, and I'm back with another deck review, and I am excited about this one, but I will have to say that, if I had taken, a 30-second Google search, I would have found that there is an extended edition of this deck and had a better guidebook. So, I am going to try to get a copy of the guidebook because I would love to do a deep dive of this deck. And it is Tarot of the New Vision. And it is a tarot deck inspired by the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery from a different perspective. So this is printed by Lo Scarabeo. I believe there is a Llewellyn edition out there that's published that has, a Llewellyn chunky size guidebook that we're all used to. Because this is the Lo Scarabeo one, which we know very limited information about the cards. And why I'm kind of kicking myself about it is because these illustrations come from a different point of view than the original Rider-Waite-Smith. So even on the box, it says, for the first time, the most famous and best-selling deck in the world, from a new perspective. Men, animals, should say men and women, animals, and objects hidden up till today come to life in a unique meaning. And just from looking at the box, right? This is the Fool, and we see the Fool from a different angle. We see the Magician from a different angle. And I kind of did a quick little flip through, and I instantly wanted to know more about why these perspectives, images, who are these people, why are they here aspect, and you just don't get it in this little guidebook. But there is some information in the guidebook with this. So, introduction. The figures of this deck were inspired by the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, designed and described by renowned English occult Arthur Edward Wright for the young painter and illustrator of books, Pamela Colman Smith, who created them in 1909. This tarot, without a doubt, is the most famous in the world. Has been the object of many attempts at imitation and was the source of inspiration for numerous decks that are still on the market, right? This is why Rider-Waite-Smith is always going to be found in any tarot educational book if you use the RWS system. For the first time, the images created by Smith for the New Vision Tarot were designed by rotating the perspective 180 degrees. The figure is no longer seen from the front, but rather the back. What the depicted figures have in front of them or behind them can therefore be discovered depending on the angles. This is not simply a figurative peculiarity, but an ulterior extension of the meanings, right? So it's just giving you a little bit more context, essentially. Some symbolic elements, where possible, were also added in order to come closer to the traditional symbols. One of the greatest difficulties with the new images were designed, some of the greatest difficulties when the new images were designed was the angle of the king and queens seen from the back of their throne. The problem was identical for many major arcana cards, such as the High Priestess, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Chariot, and Justice. While realizing this project, some of the cards required artistic license for the enlargement or reduction of the size of the figures and objects in relation to their original position. For some cards, for example, the High Priestess and Justice, the edge of the curtain location behind them was allowed to fall in order to make the main character more visible. So they dropped the curtain of Justice and the High Priestess, which, can you see the tablecloth, right? High Priestess has the curtain, so they kind of lowered that pomegranate curtain so that you can kind of see what's happening behind. People who currently use the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot have a convenient deck that represents its complex and its completion. Thanks to the new Vision Tarot, a new and enlarged image of each card is possible for a more profound reflection. Love it. Then we go into again, Lo Scarabeo has very short and sweet, like, hey, the Emperor, stability, resolution, a protective man, right? They have just some good keywords here, but there's no breakdown into why they chose to do what they did. And I, with that Google search, found out that there is a more in-depth guidebook that talks about why they chose to do what they did. Here are the cards, lovely green, and as you can see by it catching the ring light, they are glossy, so they are reflective. Closer look, they put the Knight of Cups. Can you see it? Can you see it? Focus. All right. Well, they put the Knight of Cups on the card. It will, and they put it in both, so it does give for uprights and inversions. And here's just the King of Pentacles. So the big picture is the back of the throne, but then kind of in this little center of it, as if it was engraved into the back, you can still see the front of the king. But my question is, like, why this pentacle? Or what is this? Right? And in the guidebook, it's not there. And then I saw that there is. So again, this is going to be short and sweet, because if I can get my hands on a copy of that guidebook, I'm going to do a deep dive and kind of side-by-side comparison of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith and the new version, so we can see both angles. And I think that's a lovely way to add into it, but I just want to have that extra layer. You can use your intuition, but that extra layer of knowing what the creators of this deck meant by putting some of these things, right? Like, this is the Chariot, and it's the backside of the Chariot, but these two other people are tethered and being kind of like dragged behind. Why? Why? What was the reasoning? Some of them are a great understanding. This is the Hanged Man. This is a fun image that the card is kind of showing that while this person is kind of bound and hung upside down, the crowd is looking at them. So I just, I'm kicking myself just a little bit, only because I wish I had looked at other things. Yes, you could intuitively look through this and kind of get all the things, but there are some cards that are just like, I question what the meanings of some of the symbols and people are. Lovely cardstock. I do love a Lo Scarabeo cardstock because it is easy to hold in the hand. They shuffle very beautifully. You can fit the whole deck in your hand. Whoa, Jenga. All the cards just went flying. So let's give it a shuffle, shall we? Has that beautiful snap to it. Feels like just a simple, basic paper cardstock. Oh yeah, beautiful. Easily do hand over hand. I would love to read more with this deck. I think this is going to be a fun, kind of new, enlightening way of looking at the tarot and looking at the meanings of some of the cards for clients, and just gives me a new kind of fresh take on the card meanings because, right, here's the Eight of Pentacles. It's doing the hard work, but then are you working with the others who are around you, right? The team. One that made me cry, if I can find it, or when you see it in the review that's coming up of the closer inspection of the cards, is the Five of Pentacles. It's the inside. Somebody has come inside, out of the cold, during their hard time to figure things out. Another one that I absolutely loved was the Six of Pentacles. We're used to seeing this image of a regal person giving charitably to those who are around him. But in this version, you can see from behind hold on one second. If you look closely, the man giving money, his jacket is ripped. And in a way that brings that person to the same level of these people, in a way that's saying like, hey, I might be a little bit better off than you, but I still have something to give you. Which I thought that was a beautiful, like, intuitive message from it. If you have a copy of it, let me know. I'm going to try to get my hands on the guidebook any way that I can. For now, please remember to like, follow, subscribe, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have this deck, if you use this deck, what your thoughts are, or about other decks you might want to see reviewed, because that's the point of my channel, to review decks, flip through the cards, so that you can help make an educated decision on if a deck is right for you. So, a closer inspection of the Tarot New Vision cards are coming up right now. Hey, editing Tyler, coming in here real quick. So I was able to get the box set of Tarot of the New Vision, which does come with the guidebook. So I was able to get my hands on that. I haven't had an opportunity to sit down, and fully read it, because currently, as I'm editing this video, we have family staying with us. So I am looking forward to like reading this. I might do like a breakdown side-by-side video of the Rider-Waite-Smith illustrations and the Tarot of the New Vision illustrations. But one of the things I noticed is that between this print and this print, the cardstock are completely different. The deck that I got from Namaste Bookshop that didn't come with the intensive guidebook is more papery, less shiny in a way. And then the version of the deck that I got here from the box set, I don't know if you can actually, do you see the difference? There are two different styled cards that they printed on. And these ones that came are much glossier, as you can see. So I feel like I have to make a Frankenstein's monster version of this deck where I take the guidebook from here and use the cards because they're all consistently one, like, you can see distinct card differences. I don't know if I'm going to like that while shuffling. So yeah, now let's take a closer look at the cards.